What's the latest on Orlando Brown Jr.? When could he report? That and more today on KCSN Update, presented by DraftKings.
You are listening to KC Sports Network, the #1 podcast network for today's Kansas City sports fans. With former players from your favorite teams, informed perspectives, and former insiders, this is the place for you. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts or on our YouTube channel, all over social media, or our morning newsletter, KCSN Daily, dedicated to your Kansas City Chiefs. KC Sports Network is proudly presented by Emprise Bank, your partner in possible.
I'm BJ Kissel, and welcome to KCSN Update, back on the daily content Chiefs grind. Now, it's Monday, July 25th. Here's what you need to know on what went down today in Chiefs Kingdom. But first, a word from DraftKings. Football fans, DraftKings changed the fantasy game forever in 2012. Now, 10 years later, they're doing it again with Rainmakers Football, their first ever NFT fantasy game, a new way to enjoy daily fantasy football, a new shot to win millions in prizes, and the only NFT fantasy game licensed by the NFLPA. Playing Rainmakers Football is simple. Buy, sell, bid, and win player cards of the biggest names in the game through regular drops and auctions. Build your collection of football stars and enter free Rainmaker Football contests all season long to compete for millions in jaw-dropping prizes. Each week, craft your lineups of athletes from your NFT collection and rack up points for touchdowns, receptions, and more, like you would in daily fantasy football. The next generation of fantasy sports is almost here. Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app now and sign up with promo code KCSN. Click the Rainmakers tile and opt in so you can be ready for the next drop. Play free for millions in prizes all football season and build the ultimate NFT fantasy franchise with Rainmakers Football. That's promo code KCSN only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. It was a Veterans Day off for Patrick Mahomes and a couple of others up at Chiefs camp as the rest of the team, besides the quarterbacks, rookies, and players coming back from injury who have already been in St. Joe since last Friday, are set to report on Tuesday. But not maybe everybody will be there, as all eyes will be looking for the Chiefs' franchise-tagged left tackle Orlando Brown Jr., who isn't expected to report on the campus of Missouri Western State University for Chiefs camp this week. He hasn't signed his tender after the Chiefs and Browns camp weren't able to reach a long-term agreement before that July 15th deadline. It's been what everybody has been talking about. Now, last week, when speaking with the media, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes was asked about his left tackle and his thoughts on the situation.
I talk to Orlando all the time. Me and him have a great relationship. Obviously, we wanted to get the deal done. I'm sure he wanted to get the deal done and everything like that. But at the end of the day, we're going to go out there and play football, and I'm excited for him to be here and be a part of the team again. I mean, I have no idea who said that. I mean, he's a great team player. He's one of the smartest football players I think I've ever played with. He has a high IQ. I remember even when he wasn't at OTAs, he's asking me questions. He's watching the film. He's doing everything to make sure that when he steps here, he's ready to go. And I think that comes with him as his dad playing in the league. He's been around the sport his whole life. And you ask anybody on this team, he's one of the best guys on this team, if not the best one. I mean, I didn't ask him anything like that, but you want him to be here. I mean, just because of the guy he is, and he's a leader on this football team. But at the same time, when it comes to money and contracts and stuff like that, I'll never kind of force anyone to do anything because I know they're trying to provide for their family long term. But as a teammate and as a friend, you want them to be here and be a part of this because it's always a good atmosphere when you're down here in St. Joe's and you're going to be in the building and eat together and practice together.
We've seen that Mahomes and Brown Jr. are close. Pictures of them hanging out on social media have been common, which can only be seen as a good thing. Even if Brown doesn't show up for camp, the fact that they have a good relationship is a good thing. Now, Chiefs coach Andy Reid was also asked about the Brown Jr. situation.
I don't know that. So I don't know whether he's going to be here or not. If he's here, great. And if he's not, we move on. So that's how we've done in the past. This isn't the first time I've been through something like this. My thing is we just go. And whoever the next guy is that's going to step in there, we know Joe Thuney can do it in a heartbeat. So if we need to go that direction, we can go that direction. We've got some new faces in there that can also do it.
Having a veteran left guard like Joe Thuney who can step in and play left tackle is a luxury for the Chiefs in this particular situation. If Brown Jr. isn't here for the start of camp, he might be holding out until the Chiefs break camp in St. Joe on August 18th, which is right before their second preseason game against the Chicago Bears. They'll finish up the rest of camp and preseason at the Arrowhead practice facilities, and that would give Brown Jr. just under 3 weeks to get ready for the Week 1 matchup against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, again, if Brown isn't going to report at the beginning of camp in St. Joe, maybe he just doesn't want to go live in a dorm room, so maybe it's after that August 18th date that the Chiefs break camp. Now, outside of Brown, the Chiefs are still dealing with some issues at the offensive tackle position. Now, they're a little banged up there as Andy Reid provided an injury report last Friday. Both Lucas Niang and Prince Tega Wanago, two offensive tackles, aren't practicing right now because of injuries. Now, Lucas Niang is still coming back from a torn patellar tendon suffered late last season in that Week 17 game against the Bengals, while Wagano is dealing with a leg injury of some sort. Now, when Andy Reid was asked specifically about his leg injury, he just replied, he's got a leg, which is pretty common when talking about injuries, but it's always funny to hear, and especially to read in a transcript. Now, with those guys missing and Brown's situation unclear, the Chiefs signed free agent offensive tackle Evan Kaisarzak this week. That's giving more bodies at the position, which is important to be able to field a first, second, and third teams for practice up at training camp. And it also gives breaks for the other tackles who are in between their reps while they're doing individual drills. Now, this from Charles Goldman of the Chiefs Wire mentions that the 6'6", 310-pound offensive tackle has spent time in his career with the Falcons, Vikings, Commanders, and Bills so far in just his short tenure in the NFL. Now, Reid also mentioned that defensive back Rashad Fenton, who had shoulder surgery, and receiver Justyn Ross, who had a follow-up foot surgery to a previous foot surgery, but there was still some discomfort for Ross in that foot, will begin camp on the PUP list. Now, on Ross, he's the undrafted free agent receiver out of Clemson who was turning heads and was a standout during OTAs and rookie minicamp. That's a player many fans were excited about heading into training camp, but Reid said in regards to Ross, it's going to take some time. Now, according to Chiefs senior reporter Matt McMullen, the Chiefs were practicing inside today. He let everybody know that as he shared this video of players getting their last practice in before the rest of the veterans report on Tuesday. Now, quick mention that if you like this kind of content and you want to see more of it, again, just the first time we've done this, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and check out the rest of our content here at KC Sports Network. More than 20 Chiefs shows per week coming to this channel this fall. So hit that like and subscribe and drop a comment on which player you're most excited to see in St. Joe, or at least most excited to see the highlights on social media if you're not able to make it up there. All right, finally, here's our first player to watch up at Chiefs camp, and this is a popular one. Now, number 88, tight end Jody Fortson is a guy to keep an eye on as we move through the next 3.5 weeks. Fortson has been with the Chiefs since 2019, with the majority of that time being spent on the practice squad.
You say that because we're doing the Chiefs, huh? Mahomes floats it up. Oh, what a grab! Jody Fortson takes the imaginary ladder.
You sure he didn't use a real one here? This was imaginary? Because look at him climb on Landon Collins. And the reason Mahomes is able to throw that football into that traffic is that Landon Collins can't find the football.
But as you can see from the plays he's made over that time since he's been in a Chiefs uniform, he's got all the necessary traits to play at the NFL level. Remember Travis Kelce telling me a few years ago that Fortson was the most athletic guy in that room, which is saying something considering Travis Kelce is in that room.
Mahomes over the top, and it's pulled down for the touchdown. Jody Fortson.
And Fortson started to get that opportunity last year to show what he can do before an injury derailed his season. Well, he's back and healthy now, even getting a "he looks sharp" comment from Andy Reid last week, which is always a good thing.
First of all, I just kept my faith high. I got a strong support system, especially with my family and my team around me. So I just attacked every day as if I was going to play on Sunday. I was in the rehab room just working, continuing to work as if I was going to suit up that Sunday. They never really allowed me to get down on myself. So I was never actually down. So, yeah. Pat's a great just a great, obviously everybody knows he's a great quarterback, great leader, but he's even greater behind the cameras and all that, because he actually cares about everybody that's out here. I remember being out here my rookie year, he came up to me and was like, man, you got talent. Now it was just time to put it together. So, being out here, we went out there, before OTA started down in Texas. I wasn't able to run routes quite, but I was still, catching the ball, being around the team, and just listening to the chemistry, just listening to what's going on. So I feel as though that allowed me to, to play my part and be in there.
Now, if you do head up to camp and find your eyes on number 88, you might see plays just like this one from last year, which may have caught the attention of this very excited Chiefs fan at the bottom of the video. Now that's it for this episode of KCSN Update. Again, our goal is to give you the news of the day for the Chiefs quickly and efficiently. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll be back tomorrow. And even though it's a day off for the team, we'll still bring you a daily video, and it'll be with a special guest who will actually be with us every Tuesday all season long. Thanks, everyone. Be kind.